Okay, so let us start with this loss, second loss, that loss of pre-stress due to shrinkage of concrete. So all of we know that what is the meaning of shrinkage of concrete. So shrinkage of concrete is a property of concrete when that concrete is in fresh condition. That whenever we are mixing a concrete and after mixing that concrete, when we place that concrete in the members, after some time, what happens that the moisture in that concrete goes on reducing because that whatever amount of water we have used in the concrete while preparing that mix, that water is used for the hydration process. And again, during that hydration process, as we know that the heat of hydration is going to generate, so due to that some water is also utilized for that hydration process. And other, again along with it, due to atmospheric conditions, that water may get lost in the atmosphere also due to the presence of heat in the atmosphere. So as this water goes on reducing, that concrete starts shrinking. And as a shrinking of this concrete, shrinking is nothing but that volume of concrete is goes on reducing. Though that volume of reduction is very slight, but it may affect large on the amount of stress which is going to develop or which is going to develop in the concrete. That whatever tendons we have provided in the concrete, in case of pre-stressed concrete, that due to the volumetric reduction of concrete, that whatever stretch that we have applied on the concrete, that stretch is also going to reduce. So which results in the loss of pre-stress. So that's we are going to discuss today. That as I told you that the factors affecting the shrinkage of concrete, in that loss due to shrinkage of concrete results in shortening of tension wires, and hence it contributes to the loss of stress as that contraction of concrete is going to take place, and which results into the loss of stress. And the shrinkage of concrete is influenced by the type of cement, aggregates, and the method of curing what we have assumed. So all of we know that what is the exact properties, detailed properties of concrete in phase stage, and that shrinkage of concrete we have already studied in concrete technology in the second year. So we know that what are the factors affecting this shrinkage. The main factor which is going to affect is the water cement ratio. So just by controlling this water cement ratio as per the requirements, will be able to reduce the amount of shrinkage which is going to take place. And again, to avoid that shrinkage, one more factor that we have to consider, or one more measure that we have to take, is the curing of that concrete. So if we adopt a proper curing method, so that we may avoid the possibilities of shrinkage. Okay. Then the use of high strength concrete with low water cement ratio results in the reduction in shrinkage and consequent losses of stress. The primary cause of shrinkage is the progressive loss of water from the concrete. The rate of shrinkage is higher at the surface of the member. Already, all of you know that as that what surface of concrete is exposed to the atmospheric condition, that water loss will take place due to the atmospheric conditions. So that's why the shrinkage will be observed maximum on the surfaces only. That will found that shrinkage cracks are going to develop on the surfaces only. Okay, and the differential shrinkage between the interior surface of large member may result in strain, or may result in strain gradient leading to surface cracking. So as I told you that the exposure of the surface of concrete which is exposed to the atmospheric condition, that surface or the amount of strain which is going to develop at the surface is more as compared to the amount of strain which is going to develop in the interior part of the concrete. So that's why this differential condition, or different conditions at the surface and at the inner core of the concrete, may result into the shrinkage cracking into the internal parts also. So again, it directly results into the loss of stress also. So by considering this effect, we have to utilize, or we have to use all these basics what we have studied to understand that how to utilize this and how to calculate the losses of stress due to the shrinkage of concrete. Hmm. So for that, some guidelines have been provided in IS 1343. So for the loss of stress due to shrinkage of concrete, we have to refer clause number 18.5.2.2 of IS 1343. Okay, so by referring this, we'll be able to get the details. So as per this code, we have to take some precautionary measures and we have to calculate these losses. So the precautions what we have to take, as I already told you, that the proper curing is essential to prevent cracks. That in case of pre-tension members means in this kind of members that tendons are pre-stressed first, or the stretch is applied in the tendon first, and then the casting of concrete takes place. So generally in this condition, that moist curing is restored in order to prevent shrinkage until the time of transfer. Time of transfer means that after concrete is hardened, then we are going to release that stress which is applied in that concrete just by simply cutting the wires. Okay, so to avoid this or to minimize the effect of loss of stress, what we have to do that normally we are following this also, that we are providing moist curing technique for this, that we are going to immerse these total concrete sections into the water, or we are providing the moist curing so that the least amount of shrinkage is going to happen. Consequently, the total residual shrinkage strain will be larger in pre-tension members after transfer of stress in comparison with the post-tension members, where a portion of shrinkage will have already takes place by the time of transfer of stress. This is the important condition, that this is the difference between the post-tension and pre-tension condition, that as I told you, that in pre-tension we have already applied the stress, and then we are going to cast the concrete. So if suppose the shrinkage of concrete will takes place in case of pre-tension member, then it will automatically affects on the amount of stress which is applied in that tendon. So as shrinkage happens, as stress is also going to reduce. So loss will be more in case of pre-tension members as compared to the post-tension members, because what happens in case of post-tension members, already we are casting the concrete and then we are applying the tension. So after hardening of concrete only, we are applying the tension to the tendons. So that's why that whatever shrinkage is to be happen, that already happened during the hardening of that concrete in case of post-tension member. So that's why there is a least possibilities of shrinkage loss in case of post-tension members. But in case of pre-tension member, that possibility is more. So that's why we have to consider this effect predominantly, or more importantly, for the pre-tension members. Okay, so this aspect has been considered in the recommendations given by IS 1343. Okay, so for the loss of prestige due to shrinkage of concrete are given in the IS 1343. So let us discuss that. So as per the clause number 18.5.2.2 of IS 1343, the loss of prestige due to shrinkage of concrete shall be the product of the modulus of elasticity of steel, which is given in clause number 4.5.3, and the shrinkage strain of the concrete. It should be the product of that whatever loss of pre-stress that we have to consider. So let us consider that loss of pre-stress is less delta FC. That delta FC should be equals to the product of modulus of elasticity of steel, that is EES, into the shrinkage strain of the concrete. Shrinkage strain, let us consider that strain as epsilon. So epsilon is the shrinkage strain in the concrete. So this will gives you the loss of stress due to shrinkage. Okay. So for that, as I told you, That equation is given in one equation is given in the IS 1343 clause number 18.5.2.2. So as per that, the epsilon CS is the total residual shrinkage strain in the concrete. So for the two conditions, that is for post-tension and pre-tension condition, they have given two different conditions or different values of this residual shrinkage strain. So for the pre-tension members, that residual shrinkage strain we have to consider equals to, that is epsilon CS is the residual shrinkage strain in concrete. Epsilon is strain, C for concrete, and S is the shrinkage strain. So that is the elaboration of this epsilon CS. Epsilon stands for strain, C for concrete, and S for the shrinkage. So epsilon CS will be equals to 0.0003 in case of pre-tension members. And the same value for the post-tension member, we have to calculate by using one relation, that is equals to 0.002 divided by log to the base 10 into bracket T plus 2, where T is the age of the concrete at the transfer. At the transfer means whenever we are going to transfer the pre-stress, at that time, what is the age of concrete, that we have to understand. So as I told you that in case of post-tension members, we are applying the tension after hardening of concrete. Normally that period is minimum 7 days are required. So minimum 7 days or more than that, you may adopt as per the conditions given by the designer. So that that day or that age at that time we have to consider here as a T. So by this you will be able to get the value of epsilon CS for the post-tension members. So again, as per the conditions given in IS 1343, that whatever loss we have to calculate due to the shrinkage of concrete, that loss should be the product of this residual shrinkage strain into the modulus of elasticity of steel. So that total loss of stress will be equals to epsilon CS into ES, where this ES, value of ES can be taken from clause number 4.5.3.1. So this is the clause. This I have taken a snapshot of this clause here for our reference only. So the values of different grade of steel or different types of steel what we are going to use for pre-stressed members, that accordingly you will be able to take this value. That value may be provided in the problem while you are going to attempt the exams. That plain cold drawn wires conforming to IS 1785 part 1, the value of value of modulus of elasticity of steel will be equal to 210 kilonewton per mm square. For high tensile steel bars, rolled or heat treated, that value should be 200 kilonewton per mm square. And for the stands conforming to IS 6006, that value we have to take equals to 195 kilonewton per mm square. So accordingly, as per the type of steel, what we have to use, by considering that type of steel, we have to select an appropriate value of ES. Okay. So the loss of pre-stress due to shrinkage of concrete is nothing but it is a product of epsilon CS, that is the shrinkage strain in concrete, or you can say that the residual shrinkage strain in concrete, and modulus of elasticity of steel. So just you have to remember this equation, epsilon CS into ES. Okay, so these values will be able to get from the IS 1343 value of ES. So this is the loss of pre-stress due to shrinkage of concrete. Now let us discuss one example, one numerical based on this. So example is that there is a concrete beam. We have to consider a concrete beam is pre-stressed by a cable carrying an initial pre-stressing force of 300 kilonewton. The cross-sectional area of wire in the cable is 300 mm square. Calculate the percentage loss of stress in the cable only due to shrinkage of concrete using IS 1343 recommendations. Assuming the beam to be, that two conditions they have given, that the beam to be pre-tension and post-tension. So for these two conditions, we have to calculate the loss of pre-stress. percentage loss of pre-stress due to shrinkage of concrete only. And for this, we have to take the value of ES as 210 kilonewton per mm square, and the age of concrete at the transfer we have to take as 8 days. So here what they have given, that 8 days is nothing but they have given the value of T, small t. Okay, so let us solve this problem. That the initial stress in wire we have to calculate, because they have given that the pre-stressing force of wire, they have already given that P, value of P is given 300 kilonewton, and the cross-sectional area of wire they have given as 300 mm square. So we have to calculate the amount of stress. So force is given and the area of wires are given. So just again, by using the relation of stress is equals to force per unit area, we'll be able to calculate the amount of stress. Okay, so that stress in wire, initial stress in wire will be equals to 300 into 10 raised to 3. That is, we are getting this value in Newton upon area of wires 300 mm square. So that total stress in wire will be equals to 100 Newton per mm square. Now, let us consider the case number 1, that the beam is pre-tension, that the first tension is applied, then casting of concrete is done. That is the condition. So it means that we have to refer the clause of IS 1343. So as per the recommendations of IS 1343, that value of total residual shrinkage strain should be equals to 0.0003, or you can say that value is equals to 300 into 10 raised to minus 6 units. Okay. So that's why the loss of pre-stress is nothing but that loss will be equals to product of epsilon CS into ES. It is a product of epsilon CS into ES, so that's why I put these values of epsilon CS and ES. Already they have given in this problem that 210 kilonewton per mm square. So that value put here. So that total loss of pre-stress will be equals to 63 Newton per mm square. Loss of pre-stress will be equals to 63 Newton per mm square. Okay, so now we have to calculate the percentage loss of pre-stress. So that's why we have already calculated the initial pre-stress in the wire. So initial pre-stress in wire is 1000 Newton per mm square. Out of this 1000 Newton per mm square, 63 Newton per mm square was lost due to the shrinkage of concrete. So that percentage loss will be equals to 63 divided by 1000 into 100. So that comes to 6.3%. So the percentage loss of stress due to shrinkage of concrete is 6.3%. So this is the final answer of this problem for part number 1. So this is the final answer of this problem for part number 1, that is the beam is pre-tension. Okay. Now the second part is that we have to consider that we have been given that the beam is a post-tension beam. So again, as per the provisions of IS 1343, clause number 18.5.2.2, the amount of residual shrinkage strain in case of post-tension beam is to be calculated by using relation, that is 0.0002 divided by log to the base 10 into bracket t plus 2. Here the value of t is given 8 days. So simply put this value here and let us calculate the amount of residual shrinkage strain epsilon CS. So that amount of residual shrinkage strain epsilon CS comes to 200 into 10 raised to minus 6. Okay. And in the same clause, that is in the clause, they have given that this value, if in case of dry atmospheric condition, that whatever value we are going to calculate, this value should be increased by 50%. So because in this problem they have not mentioned such kind of conditions, so that we are not going to increase this value. And again, one more criteria they have written there, that this value should not be more than 300 into 10 raised to minus 6. Okay, so that is the check we have to perform, that if suppose this value is more than 300 into 10 raised to minus 6, then we cannot take that value, whatever calculated value. We have to take the maximum loss as 300 into 10 raised to minus 6 only. Okay, but as in this case, this value is 200. That's why we have to take the value what we have got. So we have to consider the value equals to 200 into 10 raised to minus 6 only. Okay, so again, the loss of stress will be equals to epsilon CS into ES. So just put all the values what we have calculated. So that loss comes to 42 Newton per mm square. Again, calculate the percentage loss. So that's why that percentage loss will be equals to 42 upon 1000 into 100. So you'll get that loss as 4.2%. Okay. So this is the answer for this problem, part 2. So this is about the loss of pre-stress due to shrinkage of concrete. So in last lecture we have discussed one problem and concept about loss of prestige due to shrinkage of concrete. So and now we are going to discuss loss of prestige due to creep of concrete. So as we know that again creep is a property of concrete. It is a long-term phenomena which is going to take place as the life of concrete goes on or increases. This creep is also a continuous process of deformation due to the applied loads or applied forces on that concrete. Mm. So due to this creep, there may be a possibilities of loss of pre-stress because as I told you that we are going to apply a compressive force over the concrete in case of pre-stress sections, and as this compressive force is applied throughout its lifetime, so it may change the dimensions of that concrete. It may get contracts. That concrete what we have provided, it may get contract or it may get deform or it may get deflects. So due to that, there may be possibilities of losses of prestige. So that we are going to discuss here. So again, this for this that the loss of prestige due to the creep of concrete, we must understand that what is the phenomena of creep first, and I think that all of you are aware about it, that what is the creep. So in this case, again, we have to refer the clauses given in IS 1343. So as per the clause of clause number 18.5.2.1, which is for the loss of prestige due to creep of concrete in which is given in IS 1343/1983, that whatever concrete member that we have to consider, that concrete member is provided with a pre-stressing force. That the sustained pre-stress in the concrete of pre-stressed concrete member results in creep of concrete. As I told you that this whatever pre-stressing force that we have applied to the concrete, that pre-stressing force is going to be applied on that concrete throughout its lifespan. And as this as the time increases or time goes on, this may result into the slight or minor changes in the shape or in the size. Size means along with the lengthwise, it goes on reducing. Maybe a very slight amount is there, but that change is happening there. So that is called as a creep, and this creep is going to reduce the stress in the tensile steel or tendons what we have provided in the stress concrete member. Okay, so that reduction in stress we have to consider as a loss. So that loss of stress in steel due to creep of concrete can be estimated if the magnitude of ultimate creep strain or the creep coefficient is known to us. Now we can calculate this ultimate creep strain by performing the study on the concrete for the long duration. That what amount of creep strain is going to take place. Creep strain is nothing but it is a change in length due to the applied force on the concrete. Okay. That whatever change in strength upon original strength will get the amount of strain which is happening due to the effect of creep only. That we have to consider due to the effect of creep. Okay. So by knowing these two concepts, we'll be able to find out the amount of loss due to the creep. So the IS code recommends one factor which is called as creep coefficient. We'll discuss this. But there are two cases that by knowing the amount of, or by knowing the magnitude of ultimate creep strain, we'll be able to find out the loss, and by knowing the creep coefficient, we'll be able to find out the loss of pre-stress due to the creep of concrete. Let us discuss first that by ultimate creep strain method. Ultimate creep strain method. So in this ultimate creep strain method, if we know that amount of ultimate creep strain, then the loss of pre-stress due to ultimate creep strain or due to creep will be equals to the amount of ultimate creep strain into FC, that is the stress in concrete, into modulus of elasticity of steel, ES. So simply by taking a product of these three terms, we'll be able to get the loss amount of stress which is lost due to the creep. Okay. So this relation we have to use to find out the loss. Epsilon CC is the ultimate creep strain in concrete, that what amount of change in length is happened due to the application of pre-stressing force. That ultimate creep strain we have to use. Then FC is the stress in concrete due to the applied pre-stressing force, and ES is the modulus of elasticity of steel. Okay. So by knowing these three values, we'll be able to get the loss of stress or loss of stress in steel, which is provided in the pre-stress concrete. Okay. So this is about the loss of pre-stress due to the creep of concrete. Now, second method, which is suggested by IS 1343 as per the clause number 18.5.2.1, will be able to calculate the amount of pre-stressing force as per this recommendations. So for that, again, we must know that some points we have to consider here. That let us consider that epsilon E. Let us consider that epsilon E be the creep strain, that is whatever strain happened due to the creep effect, and the corresponding strain due to that creep, or the corresponding strain due to the elastic action, that is considered as epsilon E. So if we take a ratio of these 2 points or these 2 elements, we'll be able to find out one coefficient which is called as creep coefficient. So creep coefficient is represented with a symbol phi. Creep coefficient is represented with the symbol phi. So that phi is the ratio of creep strain to the elastic strain. Epsilon C is the creep strain, and epsilon E is the elastic strain. Okay. So we'll get the creep coefficient. Therefore, as I told you, that the loss of pre-stress is nothing but it is a product of strain to the modulus of elasticity, because as we know that there is that relation that E, that is the Young's modulus, is equals to stress upon strain. Let us consider strain as epsilon here. So we have to calculate this value. Here we are considering it as F and epsilon E. So we have to find out the value of F, that is the stress in the concrete. So that stress will be equals to E into epsilon. So E is, we have to find out the loss of stress in the steel. That's why epsilon, that value of modulus of elasticity of steel we have to consider. And similarly, we have to find out the value of strain in steel. And again, as I told you, that what amount of concrete is going to shorten, by the same amount the steel is also going to shorten. So that's why we are taking the strain in steel is equals to strain in concrete. So we have calculated strain in concrete. So that's same value we are taking here, epsilon C. Okay. So due to this, we'll be able to find out the loss of pre-stress. Delta F will be equals to epsilon C into ES as written here, or you can say ES into epsilon C. So by using this, we'll be able to find out the loss of stress in steel. So this coefficient of creep coefficient method is recommended by IS, and that creep coefficient multiplied, that you will get the mm, okay, so that's why the total loss of pre-stress which is going to take place will be equals to phi, that is creep coefficient, into epsilon E into ES. Epsilon E, that by using the same relation phi, we have to replace this epsilon C. So epsilon C will be equals to phi into epsilon E. Okay, so this term comes from this relation. Phi is equals to epsilon C upon epsilon E, where we have to find out this value of creep strain in the concrete. That creep strain in concrete will be equals to phi into epsilon E, that is creep strain due to elastic strain. Okay, so by using this relation, we'll be able to find out the total loss of pre-stress due to the creep of concrete. Again, we may use one more this same relation, that epsilon E is nothing but that by using same relation again, we'll be able to get this value, that epsilon E, that is elastic strain, will be equals to epsilon E. We can see here also epsilon E will be equals to epsilon E, that epsilon E is the elastic strain in concrete. So that amount of elastic strain in concrete we have to calculate. So epsilon E, this relation we have to use here, epsilon E is nothing but it is the stress in concrete divided by modulus of elasticity of concrete. That elastic strain in concrete is nothing but stress in concrete divided by modulus of elasticity of concrete. We have derived this equation from the same concept, that Young's modulus is the ratio of stress upon strain. So stress in concrete divided by strain in concrete, you will get the Young's modulus of concrete. So by using this relation, we have to put this value, just replace, we are replacing epsilon C with the epsilon E, that is elastic strain in concrete. So we'll get this final equation for the loss of stress. Okay, and again, as we know this relation, that this epsilon ES upon epsilon C, epsilon ES upon epsilon C, this ratio is called as a modular ratio. So that simply we are putting this value here. So that comes to phi into m into fc. So this is the final value of loss of stress due to the creep of concrete. Final value of loss of stress due to the creep of concrete. So let us erase these points. Okay, so this is the terminology what we have used here. That phi is the creep coefficient, epsilon C is the creep strain, epsilon E is the elastic strain, m is the modular ratio, which is the ratio of ES by EC, fc is stress in concrete, EC is modulus of elasticity for concrete, and ES is the modulus of elasticity for steel. So with this, we'll be able to find out the total loss of stress due to creep of concrete. Okay, so let us discuss the next loss. The next loss is the loss of stress due to the anchorage slip. We can categorize this type of losses into the separate category, that is loss of stress during anchorage conditions or anchorage stage. Anchorage stage means that whenever we are going to anchor the ends of wires to the end of concrete, that at the transfer phase only, that whenever we are going to transfer the stress into the concrete, at that time there may be some losses, or there may be occurrence of some losses. So those losses we are considering here. Anchorage slip. Anchorage slip is nothing but that whenever we are going to provide a concrete section, as the tendons are provided, and these tendons are to be held in their position with the help of some anchorage system. So what we are providing, suppose let us consider that it may be a pretension member or it may be a post-tension member. So while that initially what we are doing, that we are applying a pull force to the wires, that wires are pulled in outward direction. While doing that, the other end may be permanently fixed. So as these wires are pulled here, after applying this pull force, we are providing the locks here by using any method, that anchorage system. So after providing this lock, then we are removing the hydraulic jacks. So hydraulic jacks are removed. So as the hydraulic jacks are removed, these wires will try to move in inner side. These wires, because it is a property of steel, that elastic property, it tries to regain its original shape. So as this move tries to move in inner direction, but which is not possible because of application of this anchorage systems. But due to some conditions or due to some any reason, sometimes these anchorage systems may sink into this concrete. Sometimes there may be possibilities of the sinking of anchorage system may take place. We call this process as a slip of anchorage system. So as this slip occurs, that slip occurs means that total tendon is going to, that whatever length of tendon that we have provided, that length of tendon is going to reduce by this much amount. Okay, so which again results into the loss of prestige. So that reduction in length of tendon results into the loss of prestige. Okay, so that total concept we are going to use here as a anchorage slip. So again for that, as specifies some clause. So as per clause number 18.5.2.5, we have to consider this effect. So all the things what I have told you, those are written here, that any loss of prestige which may occur due to slip of wires during anchoring or due to the strain of anchorage shall be allowed for in the design. That whenever we are going to design that member, that this losses should be considered in that design. So loss due to slip of anchorage is of special importance with short members, and the short members, because as I told you just now, that if the length of member is a short, and suppose if your anchor slips by a certain amount of that, consider later some amount of slip occurs, then that change in length of tendon is considerable. So that's why the loss of stress is also considerable. So that's why it is a special. It is of a special importance in case of short members, and the necessary additional elongation should be provided for at the time of tensioning to compensate this loss. Okay, so suppose if we know that how much amount of loss is going to take place, so that much amount of loss, let us consider, suppose if you have to apply a pre-stressing force of 1000 kilonewton, and suppose there is a loss of 50 kilonewton, possibility of loss of 50 kilonewton, then you have to provide an additional 50 kilonewton force while applying that stressing force. Instead of applying 1000 kilonewton force, you have to apply 1050 kilonewton load, so that even suppose loss occurs, loss of 50 kilonewton occurs, then the final pre-stressing force, which is a desired pre-stressing force of 1000 kilonewton, remains there. So that we have to take care. Okay. Then again, as per the recommendations and specifications given in IS 1343 clause number 18.5.2.5, that loss of pre-stress due to slip shall be calculated by using this relation delta ES upon L, where delta is the slip of anchorage, that by how much amount that slip is occurred. By knowing that amount, and by knowing the modulus of elasticity of steel, and by knowing the original length of that member, will be able to calculate the loss. Now here remember that the slip of anchorage means, again you are going to find out the change in length upon original length. It means that you are going to calculate the strain, and strain multiplied by modulus of elasticity, you will get the stress. Okay, so here we are going to use the same concept again to find out the loss of pre-stress due to the anchorage of anchorage slip. Okay, so just remember this condition or this equation to find out the loss of pre-stress due to the anchorage slip. Delta is the slip of anchorage. ES is the modulus of steel, which is normally given as specified in IS 1343 in clause number 4. And the L is the length of tendon, original length of the tendon. So by knowing this, we'll be able to find out the loss of stress. Okay. So just summarize all the losses what we have studied up to this lecture. That the first loss which we have considered, we have calculated, we have derived one equation, that is loss due to elastic shortening. That loss due to elastic shortening can be calculated by using relation M into FC. M is the modular ratio, ES upon EC. FC is stress in concrete at the level of steel. Then shrinkage loss, or loss due to shrinkage of concrete, second loss, that can be calculated by using relation epsilon CS into ES, where epsilon CS is the residual strain in concrete, and ES is the modulus of elasticity of steel. Creep of concrete, just we have discussed. Creep of concrete can be calculated by using relation phi into M into FC, or you can use the relation FC into epsilon C into ES. Okay. Then anchorage slip, just now what we have discussed, that anchorage slip will be equals to delta into ES, where delta is the anchorage slip, or slip by which that anchorage system is slipped, or the distance by which that anchorage system is slipped, that is delta. ES is modulus of elasticity of steel, and L is the length of the tendon. So by knowing this, you will be able to find out the total loss due to the anchorage slip. So these are the losses what we have to consider whenever we are going to design any member. Okay.